Howdy folks, and welcome back to the channel where we ask the question, how deep does it go? And so today, we're going to be going over the horror anime and manga iceberg. In case you're some kind of a undiscovered species living under a rock for the past year and a half, an iceberg chart is a chart that entries that are close to the top are what's more like well known and people know about generally. And then the farther down things are on the chart, the more obscure and not well known they are. The chart is split into 10 tiers, and I'll be covering 2 of those tiers in each video. So in this video, we're going to be covering the first 2 tiers, alright? So how about we get into it? Also, by the way, a lot of these names in this iceberg are Japanese, so I'm definitely going to get a lot of them messed up. So, yeah, I'm just letting you know that. Higurashi no Naku Koroni, or Higurashi When They Cry, is an anime released in 2006 about when Keiichi Maibara moves to the village Hinamizawa in 1983 and forms a group of friends in the new town. Keiichi discovers the dark secrets the seemingly ideal town hides. He discovers that in recent years, several murders and deaths have occurred on the day of the town's annual festival. The murders going unsolved, the event has been known as the Oyashiro Curse. Bizarre events start to occur, and Keiichi begins to question who to trust. It was first released as a visual novel in 2002, but also has multiple games in the franchise with many manga series and anime adaptations. Senkaria Undying Love is a manga released in 2009 and an anime from 2012. It's about Chihiro Furuya, a male high school student who is obsessed with all things related to zombies. He even dreams of having a zombie girlfriend. When his cat dies in an accident, he creates a resurrection potion to bring it back. He meets Rei Sanka, a girl who ran away from home. She drinks the potion in an attempt to kill herself. The potion fails, but when she accidentally falls off of a cliff, the potion resurrects her and she becomes a zombie. When Chihiro thinks this is a dream come true since he's always wanted a zombie girlfriend, instead his life becomes a lot stranger when he needs to deal with Reia's new cravings. Gakko Garashi, or School Live, is an anime that released in 2015. Yuki Takeya is a carefree girl who is trying to get by in her high school life. However, she's absolutely delusional, and her few schoolmates are the sole survivors of the zombie apocalypse, using the high school as their survival base. Mirai Nikki, or Future Diary, is an anime released in 2011 about Yukitaro Amano, who keeps a diary in his phone. One day, Yukitaro discovers that in his phone diary are events that will happen in the near future. He discovers that his classmate, Yuno Gasai, has a similar diary. The two team up when the god of space and time puts them and 10 others in a battle royale game to eliminate the other diary users. The winner of the game will be the successor of God. Gantz is a 2011 anime about teenaged Kei Kurono who dies with his childhood friend Masaru Kato from saving a homeless man on some train tracks. After they die, instead of going to the afterlife, Kei and Masaru find themselves in a room with multiple other people that have also recently died. In the room with them is a mysterious black sphere which opens up and gives the group of people weapons. Their mission now is to kill aliens. Parasite is an anime released in 2014. It's about when small aliens called parasites arrive on Earth and take over the brains of their host, and changing the body. A parasite attempts to crawl into the nose of 17-year-old Shinichi Izumi, but fails as he wakes up. The parasite burrows into Shinichi's arm. Shinichi now lives with one of these alien parasites in his arm instead of taking over his own body, so the parasite keeps its intellect. Shinichi names the parasite Migi after the Japanese word for right. Berserk is a dark fantasy manga series by Kentaro Miura in 1988 that tells the story of a lone wolf mercenary. It was adapted into an anime in 1997. Perfect Blue is a 1997 film directed by Satoshi Kon. Perfect Blue is what I find personally one of the most disturbing and off-putting films I have ever seen. It tells the story of Mima Kirigoe, who leaves her pop idol group, Cham, to become an actress. An upset fan starts to stalk Mima and creates a website documenting her everyday personal activities. Over the film, more and more dark things start to happen around Mima. Danganronpa is a franchise consisting of visual novels, manga, light novels, and anime adaptations. It started as a visual novel from 2010, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, and later got an anime adaptation in 2013. We all know Chainsaw Man, but for the sake of the iceberg, I'll explain it. Chainsaw Man is a manga written and illustrated by Tatsuki Fujimoto, and received its anime adaptation in 2022. In a world where human fears manifest into creatures known as devils, an around 16-year-old male, Denji, befriends the chainsaw devil, Pochita. Pochita decides to fuse with Denji's heart, making him half human, half chainsaw devil. Alphen Lied is an anime from 2004 about Lucy, a girl who is part mutant species called Diclonius. Lucy is held in a research facility, but ends up escaping and is taken in by two students, Kota and Yuka. Another is a 2012 anime series about Koichi Sakakibara, who moves to a small countryside town. He encounters a mysterious girl, Mei Misaki, who is his classmate. However, Koichi starts to discover more about his school's strange history that none of his classmates will give him the full details of. He starts to investigate and find out about the events and how they are connected to Mei Misaki. Goblin Slayer is a 2018 anime series about a young priestess who joins a group of rookies to investigate a cave of goblins. However, the goblins kill everyone in the group except for the priestess, who is rescued by the Goblin Slayer. The priestess accompanies the Goblin Slayer on his mission to slay goblins. Devilman Crybaby is an anime series that released in 2018. It's about Akira Fudo, who joins his friend Ryo Asuka in exposing the existence of devils. They go to a party where devils have possessed the partiers in an attempt to capture video of the devils. However, one of the devils tried to possess Akira, but because of how strong his will is, the devil instead merges with his body. Aku no Hana, or Flowers of Evil, first released as a manga in 2009, adapted into an anime in 2013 and a live-action film in 2019. It follows middle schooler Takao Kusaga, who loves reading books and idolizes his classmate Nanako Saiki. One day, he returns to school after leaving his book in class. He finds Nanako's freshly worn gym clothes, and he steals them. But when Sawa Nakamura witnesses the theft, she blackmails him into a contract. It's actually not easy to describe the story in a video, so I highly encourage you to watch Flowers of Evil. Tomi is a manga from 1987 and is the first published work by Junji Ito. It was adapted into a live-action series in 1999. It's about when Tomi Kawakami dies due to mysterious circumstances. However, Tomi has the uncanny ability to resurrect herself and make any man fall in love with her. Released in 2010, High School of the Dead is about when a zombie apocalypse breaks out in Japan. High schoolers Takashi Kimuro and Rei Miyamoto escape the school to find that society has collapsed. After grouping up with other students, they venture out to find their parents and discover the cause of the zombie outbreak. Gyo is another manga written and illustrated by Junji Ito in 2001 and got an anime film in 2012. During World War II, in a desperate attempt to turn the war, the Japanese Imperial Army creates a gas of deadly germs that release a foul smell. However, the ships containing the prototypes were sunk and the gas let out in the ocean. The germs mutate to have the ability to use metal from the sunken ships and create robotic legs for dead sea creatures below the ocean surface. The marine life that now has metal legs return to the mainland and wreak havoc on Japan. Hellsing is an anime that released in 2001 based off the manga that started in 1997 and ran for over 10 years. It's set in a world where supernatural creatures exist. The King of England created Hellsing, a branch of vampire hunters led by Abraham Van Helsing himself. In 1996, Makoto Kedouin, a 22-year-old high school student, created a game called Corpse Party. In 2006, a mobile version of the game was released titled Corpse Party New Chapter. Since then, the Corpse Party franchise has spun across more video games, manga, OVAs, and light novels. So here's the thing about school days. It's one of those horror anime that start off completely normal and innocent, but then take a dark turn. However, I watched an entire 5 episodes of this show, and all it was this high schooler, Makoto Ito, who has a crush on Katsura. Makoto becomes friends with another girl named Sakai, and Sakai helps Makoto get with Katsura. Mission accomplished. The two get together in the first episode. After that, it's about how Makoto and Katsura struggle as a couple because of how perverted Makoto is. I watched 5 whole episodes. The 5th was a pool episode. Whatever the horror development of this show is, I don't know. That's how slow it is. So if you want to discover it for yourself, go ahead. I just can't watch it till the end because I have other anime to cover on the iceberg. Gegege Gitaro is a manga that ran from 1960 to 1969 and has gotten multiple anime adaptations over the years. It's about a young boy named Kitaro who keeps peace between humans and yokai. His father is dead but is a ghost that makes up Kitaro's left eye. Uzumaki is another work from Junji Ito and is definitely his most famous. It follows boyfriend and girlfriend Kiri Goshima and Shuichi Saito, living in a small Japanese town that is cursed by supernatural spirals. Uzumaki is considered to be one of the greatest works of Japanese horror in history. You know that famous manga panel of the girl with the freaky spiral in her head? This is where that's from. I'm a Hero is from 2009. Basically, it's about a schizophrenic guy who owns a lot of guns surviving the zombie apocalypse. Happiness is a 2015 manga series written by Shuzo Ushimi, the same writer of Flowers of Evil. It is about unpopular high schooler Makoto Okazaki, whose entire life changes when one night he encounters a vampire girl that attacks him and drinks his blood. She decides to give Makoto a choice: be killed or become a vampire. Hellstar Ramina is another Junji Ito manga created in 2004. A Japanese scientist discovers a planet thousands of times larger than Earth. The planet he names Ramina, after his own daughter. But this newly discovered planet is a giant living creature with a mouth and eyes millions of miles large. Planet Ramina is able to detect being observed by the scientist and starts to approach Earth. Once Planet Ramina has entered the solar system, eating each and every planet on its way to ours, humanity panics. Eventually, Planet Ramina licks the Earth, causing it to spin like a dreidel. Once Earth is fully consumed, the few survivors are living in nuclear bunkers below the surface. Homunculus is a manga about Suzumu Nakoshi, a 24-year-old homeless man living out of his car. He's greeted by a man searching for participants in a trepanation experiment. Trepanation is the procedure of drilling holes into a person's skull. After the procedure is finished, with the new hole in his skull, Nakoshi is able to see people's mental problems manifested into creatures. Ghost Hound is an anime series released in 2007, taking place in the small town of Suiton. Taro Komori is a high schooler who holds childhood trauma from when he was kidnapped 11 years ago. Now he encounters 2 other boys that have traumatic experiences themselves, and the 3 of them investigate a spirit realm, the unseen world. The boys realize the unseen world is involved with the strange happenings in the town and even the traumatic events of the 3 boys. The Godzilla movie franchise has more than 70 manga releases from 1954 and still going until now. High-Rise Invasion is about high schooler Yuri Hanjo who witnesses a man's murder, the murderer being a mysterious masked man. She finds herself trapped in an abandoned building. Once she escapes through the top, she finds herself in another world made up entirely of high-rise buildings. She learns that her brother is also trapped in this world, and she decides to find him and escape this world. However, there are more of the masked murderers. Ghost Hunt is about first-year high schooler Mai Taniyama. One night on her way home, Mai passes the building and examines a camera she finds. She meets Kazuya Shibuya, who works for the Shibuya Psychic Research Company, basically a ghost hunter group. Mai accidentally breaks the camera, so Kazuya forces her to be his new assistant to pay for the camera. Blood on the Tracks is about middle schooler Seiichi Osabe, who lives a seemingly normal life. One day when hiking with his extended family, one of Seiichi's cousins jokingly pushes him near a cliff. Seiichi's mother hastily snatches him away from the cliff. Later, Seiichi and his cousin go to a higher cliff by themselves, but Seiichi's mother follows them. His mother pushes Seiichi's cousin off of the cliff, putting him into a coma, with Seiichi as the only witness. After this event, Seiichi starts to realize his mother's dangerous affection, and his life isn't as normal as he thought. Miko Yatsuya has the ability to see ghost-like monsters that are invisible to normal humans. Miko tries her hardest to ignore and not acknowledge the presence of these beasts, even when she can see how they disturb the people and her friends around her. Umineko no Naku Koroni is a Japanese murder mystery visual novel that expands into manga and an anime adaptation. I've been told that it is very hard to explain the plot while avoiding spoilers, so play it if you want to. You guys know that meme of the crying manga girl? That's from this manga. Magical Girl Site is about Aya Asagiri, who thinks about killing herself every day due to the bullying and abuse she experiences frequently. One night, a mysterious website appears on her computer called Magical Girl Site, and it claims to turn anyone into a magical girl. Asagiri brushes it off as some prank until the next day she finds a magical gun in her locker. Later, when she's being threatened by some bullies, Asagiri uses the gun and it transports the bullies onto some nearby train tracks, and they get run over. They now have to fight other magical girls, discover the secret behind the Magical Girl Site, and stop the apocalypse. Okay, this one is actually a favorite of mine. Paranoia Agent is an anime that is as psychological as a psychological anime can get. Basically, while avoiding spoilers, Paranoia Agent is set in Tokyo when a district is terrorized by attacks from an unknown boy who wields a red baseball bat. Lovecraft adaptations by Go Tanabe are a series of manga adaptations of a number of H.P. Lovecraft's work illustrated by Go Tanabe. Dead Man's Wonderland is about Ganta Igarashi, who, when he starts his first year in high school, a mysterious person in red armor appears in his classroom and murders the entire class, sparing Ganta. With Ganta as the leading suspect, evidence gets rigged against him and he is put into a prison. This prison, called Dead Man's Wonderland, is not an ordinary prison. It's like a theme park with the inmates working in it to stay alive. The inmates also compete in lethal games for their survival. Ganta partners up with a girl, Shiro, to compete in these games, and find out the identity of the Red Man to clear his name. Kyoko Sayuri, or Inspector, is about Kotoku Iwanaga and Karu Sakuragawa, who are partners in keeping peace between humans and yokai. One day, an idol gets crushed to death by a steel beam. Then, the idol spirit wreaks havoc on the city, wielding a steel beam, and it's up to Kotoko and Kuro to put a stop to it. Urasekai Picnic, or Other Side Picnic, is an anime released in 2021. It tells the story of Sorowo Kamikoshi, who encounters an alternate universe that coexists with ours. This world, called the Other World, resembles ours but devoid of life, except for the dangerous creatures within it to do harm to anyone who ventures within the Other World. Sorowo meets Toriko Nishina, who is searching for her lost friend. The two team up to learn more about the Other World. Happy Sugar Life is about Sato Matsuzaka, who meets Shio Koubei and falls deeply in love with her. Sato secretly lives alone with Shio in her apartment. To Sato, living with Shio is her perfect life and will do anything to preserve it, even as far as murder. Shivers is a collection of 9 manga horror short stories by Junji Ito, selected by Ito himself. Battle Royale follows Shuya Nanahara, who is part of Shioiwa Junior High's Class B. At this school, one class is randomly selected to be transported to an island and participate in a Battle Royale lethal game. Shuya was unlucky enough for his class to be selected. In the game, every student must kill others, and the last student standing graduates and is granted release from the island. Shuya makes it his goal to escape the island and shut the Battle Royale games down once and for all. Shiki revolves around Natsuno Yuki, who lives in the small village of Sotoba. Once a family moves into a strange house in the town, Deaths of mysterious circumstances begin to happen frequently in the village. As an investigation continues, the deaths are found to be caused by supernatural creatures called Shiki. Terraform Mars takes place in a world where, in an attempt to terraform planet Mars, humans send cockroaches and algae to the Martian surface. Fast forward 500 years and it is now the 26th century. An alien virus plagues the Earth, killing millions, and the cure is found to be on Mars. A team of 100 astronauts are sent on a mission to find the cure and the cause of the alien virus. While cockroaches sent from Earth 500 years ago have adapted and evolved into large humanoid creatures that aren't very friendly. And that concludes Tier 1 and 2 of the horror anime and manga Iceberg. Now, I hope that you stay around for the other parts. Maybe I'll do more tiers in each video. Maybe I'll just stick to 2, and this will be a 5-part series. I don't know. But the best way that you can keep up with the series, if you really want to, is by subscribing. I'm not the type of person to be begging for subscribers in every video, but if you really want to stick around for this series, then that's your best option. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you didn't, then you can leave a hate comment down below, and I guess maybe I'll see you in the next one. Bye, folks.